Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to start by thanking you for inviting me here for this very important event. It was really inspiring to listen to Wim, Lars, Maria, Emma, and Jesus in their introductory remarks. So I would like to congratulate the team behind AccessibleEU for not just for bringing us together today and organizing a really interesting day of discussions, but for all of their work in making the EU a more accessible place through good practices that contribute to making life easier for a significant number of Europeans. Accessibility is something I attach great importance to. Over 101 million EU citizens have a disability, and by 2050, nearly a third will be over 65. Unfortunately, many aspects of our society have been created without giving enough thought to this significant group of Europeans. But it's not too late to make a difference to ensure that everyone, no matter their personal challenges, can participate fully and independently in our society. I am proud that in my capacity as Commissioner for Financial Services, I have an opportunity to make a real difference to the daily lives of all EU citizens, and I intend to do so. Only a few days ago, on 28th June, the European Accessibility Act came into effect across the EU. Rather than have accessibility as an afterthought, this aims to put accessibility front and center at the design stage of products and services being offered to Europeans. It is something we, all of us as Europeans, should be proud of. I am strongly committed to ensuring that accessibility is built into EU legislation that impacts the financial services we all rely on in our daily lives. These services can make a huge difference in people's lives, and I think many of us take them for granted. Just think about a normal week for many of us. You might tap your phone to pay for your metro ticket, split a dinner bill with friends instantly using a peer-to-peer payment app, or check your bank balance to make sure your salary has come in. You might get a notification reminding you that a direct debit for your rent or utilities has gone out, or you might use a budgeting app to keep track of spending or set up a savings goal. These simple everyday actions are essential to full participation in modern life. And when accessibility is not a core part of the design, it can mean the difference between independence and exclusion for many Europeans. My proposal for a Savings and Investments Union in Europe, or the SIU, which the Commission adopted in March, aims to empower European citizens to take control of their financial security and their financial future by engaging confidently with financial services. The European Accessibility Act is a necessary complement to the SIU and targets the most important products and services for people with disabilities, including ATMs, smartphones, and banking and payment services. And it provides an opportunity to empower more Europeans to take charge of their financial future. So thank you, Emma, for your dedicated work on this. Today, I want to share with you some of the key initiatives of the Commission that the Commission is advancing to promote both accessibility and financial inclusion, ensuring that everyone can fully participate in our modern financial ecosystem. For me, financial literacy, the ability to make informed financial decisions, is a fundamental skill. It underpins economic inclusion and is vital to building a strong, fair society. I want this topic to be spoken about more at all levels of society, and I am working to push it up the agenda. Unfortunately, the levels of financial literacy and general literacy in the EU are low. Only 18% of EU citizens display a high level of financial literacy. Academic studies show that the level of financial literacy among people with disabilities is often lower than that of the general population, highlighting the need for targeted educational programs. For example, the most recent OECD Disability Work and Inclusion Report shows a major skills gap. Almost 50% of people with permanent disabilities have low literacy, and 55% have low numeracy, compared to about 20 to 25% in the general population. There is a clear gap here and an unfortunate conclusion, which is that many Europeans are being left behind. Over the last few years, the Commission has worked with the OECD to publish a financial competence framework for children, youths, and a separate framework for adults. These frameworks outline the essential knowledge, behaviors, and attitudes people need to make informed financial decisions, including digital and sustainable finance skills. Elsewhere, the Erasmus Plus program supported a project aimed to build sustainable financial skills among disabled youth. The project developed a pedagogically sound tool to help young people with disabilities manage money, adapt to economic changes, and make smart, sustainable financial decisions for their future. While education is not a specific competence of the EU, the Commission plays an important coordinating role and can build on the great work of member states. Since beginning in this role at the end of last year, I have seen some great examples of member states empowering their citizens through knowledge. I was particularly impressed by the work of the Belgian Financial Services and Markets Authority. Their program not only offers general financial training for the wider public, but also equips teachers with tailored educational materials to bring financial literacy directly into the classroom. I firmly believe that learning these skills early in life gives people a real head start. Like many of you, financial education wasn't part of my own schooling. And that's exactly why I am so passionate about making sure that the next generation has the tools they need to make informed financial decisions. When taking on this role, my mission letter tasked me with developing an ambitious EU financial literacy strategy. This was announced under the Savings and Investments Union communication, and we are presenting our strategy by Q3 this year, late in Q3, because we will all go on holidays, which we desperately need. The goal of this strategy is to empower citizens, raise awareness, and increase their participation in capital markets, thus creating a more investment-savvy culture across the Union. This new strategy will go beyond investment literacy and aims to strengthen all aspects of financial knowledge, from helping people navigate everyday financial decisions, such as budget planning or managing debt, to empowering them to understand and make the most of the entire financial ecosystem. Of course, this won't be a quick fix for improving financial literacy across Europe, particularly for people with disabilities. But as we implement the strategy, we have a real opportunity to identify and support the groups that need tailored attention and to make sure that no one is left behind. As we speak, the Commission is actively engaging with member states, academia, industry, and civil society to shape this strategy and to make sure that it meets the needs of all Europeans. For over a decade, the EU Payment Account Directive, through the EU Payment Account Directive, Europe has stood for all citizens and residents in the EU, no matter nationality, residence, income, social status, disability, gender, or age, having the right to basic banking services. Receiving a salary, paying rent or utilities, shopping online, or even accessing certain public services often requires a bank account. The reality is that in 2025, without a basic bank account, it's nearly impossible to fully participate in everyday life. By targeting the obstacles that vulnerable consumers face in their access to essential services, the Payment Account Directive was a foundational step on the path to more financial inclusion in the EU. Payments are a daily part of life for most of us, and more, these are done digitally. I am sure some of you, especially the younger faces in the room, may struggle to remember the last time you used cash to pay for something. Rules around how payment services are delivered in Europe, including their security features, have been developing over the recent past. And there was a very important alert. I listened, Lars, when you said about the difficulties in guaranteeing security when you make payments in services. And this is something that we are not all necessarily aware of. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. So strong customer authentication that came into force 6 years ago are a big part of the second Payment Services Directive. It requires users to authenticate payments using at least 2 out of 3 elements, something they know, like a password, something they have, like a phone, or something they are, like a fingerprint. While this represented a leap forward in terms of fraud reduction and trust in online transactions, it didn't work for everyone. Some citizens, including those with disabilities, the elderly, and those without access to digital channels, were left out. Our upcoming payment services regulation aims to remedy this and to embed accessibility into the framework by designing authentication solutions to ensure that all clients have adapted means to authenticate payments and are not dependent on one single technology or device. Innovations like voice and facial recognition or card readers could play an important role here. These new requirements will build on the European Accessibility Act and help strengthen financial inclusion for vulnerable groups, while also offering better protection against fraud in digital payments and online banking, which are services that are now essential to daily life. It is important to remember that accessibility in financial services does not just mean that everything has declined in the use of cash across Europe. But despite this trend, many consumers remain deeply attached to cash. We believe that ensuring continued access to it is in the best interest of consumers, especially for those who are unbanked, underbanked, or offline. For them, cash remains a vital and inclusive means of payment. To improve access to cash, the Commission's proposals for the new Payment Services Directive and regulation will make it easier for retailers to support cash availability. Under the proposal, retailers will be able to offer cash withdrawals, even without a purchase, without needing a full payment service license, provided certain conditions are met, such as a €50 cap per transaction. We're also proposing to give more flexibility to certain ATM operators by allowing them to run machines without needing a license, as long as they don't service payment accounts. This should help expand ATM coverage where it's needed most. Importantly, all of these measures will come with transparency rules, so consumers are clearly informed in advance about any fees that may apply. As you may know, the Commission has also put forward a legislative proposal to create a digital euro, a central bank digital currency that would complement euro bank notes and coins, not replace them. We are working closely with the European Central Bank on this project. The digital euro will be a public digital means of payment which will be accepted everywhere in the euro area, in e-commerce and in shops, even where there is no internet connection. The digital euro will be easy to handle and is being designed to work for financially excluded people, as well as persons with disabilities or functional limitation, people with fewer digital skills, and older people in line with the European Accessibility Act. So as we move forward with the Savings and Investments Union, we are opening up Europe's financial system to all Europeans. By aligning this work with the European Accessibility Act, we are making it clear that going forward, accessibility will be built in from the start, not patched on later. The world is changing. Digital finance, evolving consumer habits, and demographic realities require us to rethink how financial services are designed, accessed, and experienced. We have a shared responsibility to ensure that no one is excluded simply because systems were not built with them in mind. I thank you for your commitment to this cause. I promise to continue to support and do whatever we can from the Commission side, and I do wish you a productive and inspiring day ahead. Thank you very, very much.